Good day, traders. Richard K here from Price Action and Income, and welcome to this week's live session with us here at Price Action Income. Guys, before I get started, it's been quite a heck of a morning. I woke up this morning, got to the office, obviously, switched on my computer, and all my market geometry disappeared from TradingView. Apparently, it was some server issue that they had. So, an incredibly frustrating morning. Hate it when this sort of stuff happens, especially if they don't tell you in advance. So spent most of the morning redrawing most of my analysis. So it's been quite a crappy start to the day, if I can say that. But in any case, happy to be here with you guys again today. Thanks for attending. We did have quite a few questions that came in the comments regarding some markets that we're going to be looking at. As usual, we just want to have a quick look at the dollar index as well. Can give us a good indication as to where currencies might be heading, the trade versus the dollar. Then we're going to have a look at the last trade idea I gave you guys was on the AUD NZD. It identified a zone, and I'll show you where price is currently standing and what happened with that idea. And then I'll take some questions, guys. Today I can't really go on for too long. I don't want to go on longer than, I would say, 30-35 minutes after I get home and take my boys to some extramural activities that they need to attend to. In any case, before we get started, guys, please just take note that everything I'm showing here reflects my own opinions, my own analysis, and does not constitute any trading advice. All right, okay, with that out of the way and me stop moaning now, we can have a look at the markets. Right, guys, the dollar index. We've previously had a little zone here and identified that we probably are correcting to the upside. I'm sticking with that opinion. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion. I think there's obviously something wrong if you're if you're not flexible in your opinion. My opinion over the long term is that we are still correcting. The pattern that we have at the moment might slightly have changed. As you can see, that price has been moving up pretty strong. I still think that we've had some sort of an ABC, an X wave, and that we're most probably still busy with a very extended A wave. Now, I had to slope a pitchfork that was generally, or before this video today, set at a shift pitchfork. Price reacted from the upper median line and has now since broken to the upside. Quite strongly, I must say. You look at the modified shift pitchfork, which is there a little bit at the moment, but I'm quite interested in the standard pitchfork. And the reason why we go shift between these settings is because we want to obviously find which setting is working the best and where the market might find resistance in this instance on if price goes higher. Something that's absolutely very clear for me on the dollar index is this sort of expanding diagonal that we're seeing here. I do still think that we're going to head into strong resistance anywhere from around the 94.20ish level to the 94.90 level. Not too far above the current price to potentially end a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move to the upside, then see a decline, and then towards the end of the year see another move to the upside to complete this entire pattern. Now, I've just put these labels here. These could be way higher by the time price gets there. I'm not trading dollar index at the moment. I'm just using it as, like I said, sort of a leading or indication of where currencies like the pound to US dollar yen, or the euro US dollar might be heading to. So I think we're really close to very strong resistance. We had that here. We thought we were going to get a decline. We did, but price failed to make it made a lower low. It failed to make a lower high. It didn't confirm a lower low, sorry. And now we have to change the labeling here. I still think we in some sort of a very strong A wave, a B wave to come, a C wave towards the end of the year. Okay, that's it for the dollar index. We've had quite a lot of you guys ask, okay, before we look at the pound dollar, I also have an idea on the euros dollar. We looked at the AUD NZD a while back during one of these live sessions, we identified a zone, and this is the beauty of market geometry. Price perfectly entered that zone, and it's now shot up to the upside. So guys, this stuff really does work. Obviously takes quite a bit of experience getting used to this, but this is also why, you know, lots of years of hardship and turmoil trying to get this stuff in my head finally obviously paying off for myself and my members. So a very cool way to have identified a possibly reversal. Not saying that price is going to go to new highs here, but definitely had a very nice bounce to the upside. Okay, AUDNZD, let's get to some of the questions you guys had before. A lot of you've been asking me about the pound US dollar. Again, I had to redraw most of this analysis this morning. Sometimes that could probably be a good thing, so you have a nice fresh look at the markets again. I want to go back to a weekly time frame on the pound US dollar. And for the longest time, since this high in July 2014, let me get my drawing tool out. I'm just going to use my brush. This move here, to me, could have obviously been an end of, how can I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I originally thought. But then something weird happened over here, and I won't say it's weird, it's because this to me does look like a 3-wave move and not a 5-wave move like you would expect to complete a wave sequence, or a bearish, or it depends obviously what direction you're looking at here. This is a 3-wave move in my opinion. Also on deeper inspection, let me get rid of that. This move low from 16th of April is now, so it's April, around mid-April 2018, to the low in March last year. We probably had an A, and this is now going to probably look very funny for you guys. I'm not familiar with these sort of patterns, but just bear with me. Let me get my labeling tool out here. Since this here, price fluctuated above and below a center point. And this, in my opinion, was an A, B, C, D, E, i.e. an expanding triangle. So if this was a 3-wave move, then this was probably it, the 3-wave move over there. And what I mean by that is we could have potentially seen a very large A, B, C. Let's just get primary wave. Let's go cycle wave. Let's go bigger super cycle. No, it's not actually all that big cycles, but let's do that. Let's change it to another color. This is what I'm thinking. So, this is also why I've got this pitchfork drawn on to this chart here. If this was an ABC move, then potentially this was also an ABC somehow. Meaning that we potentially, in the bigger scheme of things, let me just mark this completely out for you so you can see that. Since this low here, we could have seen an A, a B, and a C wave to the upside. And C waves of, in this case, a pattern that will fit, that would be a expanded flat. And they are marked as A's, B's, and C's. And I don't think that C wave's done yet. Let's again go to a different marker. Let's go, I'm probably using the wrong ones here, but in any case. You do not get, if you don't get a 5-wave drive into a new low, and obviously before this, the pound to US dollar was weak against the dollar into this 2021 or 2020 low over here. with a 3-wave move from this high over here. This does not look to me like a 5-wave move, guys. So especially this, that's pretty clear in my opinion to have been, oh goodness, let me just get that back, A, B, C, D, E. Actually a expiring triangle B wave, A, B, C, and potentially now a 1, 2, possibly a 3, with a 4th wave correction coming down before we get another 5th wave to the upside to complete the C wave and then get a larger move to the downside. Guys, this could take years to materialize. So I would reckon for probably a few more weeks that we could still come lower. We really haven't declined more than 0.382% of this entire move to the downside. I mean, price is not that far away from it, but we are on a weekly scale. And how long price does take to get there, this might be the first sort of area that we start seeing support and potentially end what I'm still thinking is a correction. So if the C wave has to run in 5 waves, we potentially have a 1 up here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially a 3 with a 4th wave and a 5th wave to follow, or we had a 3 there, whatever the case might be. I'm not going to bust my head too much about the exact labeling of a potential trend. I'm more interested in corrections and the entire sort of pattern that has been unfolding, and this is what gave away the clue over here, is that I think we're still going to go higher in a C wave and that we're only correcting lower at the moment. There would be invalidation areas though if this was a wave 1, and we're still going to head up in the 5th wave. And why do I say 5th wave? Is because price has not taken out the A wave yet, and expanded flats always take out or at least tests the A wave. The C wave tests the A wave, and here it fell short of it. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. This is my opinion. I think we are moving lower. This would be in validation area at 1.2645. Any lower than this, and enough to think that something else is going on here. So I'm sticking with that, a potential expanded flat on the pound US dollar. We have a question from CryptoPunk, and he would like to see Bitcoin. We will have time for that. Let me just quickly move on to the Euro US dollar. We have a similar situation in Euro US dollar where I also think we're still correcting lower. The thing is with the Euro US dollar, we have wave 1, I think in my opinion over there, any lower than this, and we potentially topped already. I'm still viewing this as a potential A, B, C, but I would not be surprised if we're seeing a similar thing than we do in the dollar index, where we probably had an A, B, C, X, extended A, B, C. That being said, price has been respecting this shift pitchfork, modified shift pitchfork very well, using the anchor point in Jan this year to this lower low in March and to this lower high on the 24th or towards the end of May 2021. This is again on a weekly time frame. So we could have an A, B, C, X, and now we have an A, a bounce, and then a C wave to the downside. That also coincides with where the dollar index is currently heading. I strengthen the dollar. If it does find resistance and turn low in that B wave that I showed you earlier on, we might potentially see a bounce within the 1.1600 to 1.1665 sort of region, potential move to the upside, and then another retest towards the end of the year before this pattern completes, and then we see another quite a strong, decent move to the upside with potentially large profit potential. Again, guys, is one thing just identifying these zones. So please, guys, I don't just identify these zones and trade them blindly. There are very specific indicators that we follow to help us, how can I say, qualify if we should be taking entries under the right conditions, and as well as other things that we do follow. So that being said, I just want to quickly mention something before we look at Bitcoin. We do have quite a few guys asking about Bitcoin in the chat there. we are hosting a special live event on YouTube next week. It'll be next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there will be tickets available for this event. And I'll be going into a deep dive session, about 2 hours long, with one of my favorite entry methods, which is called the velocity trigger method. It's a very reliable entry method. It might be a bit more of a conservative method, but I find it works extremely well, especially when you apply this entry technique after price hit areas like this market geometry that I showed you now. There'll be lots and lots of examples that I'll show you guys, recent ones as well, of how we use the velocity trigger to enter into trades. So this is something that will be really cool for you to attend if you're keen on, you know, finding better sort of setups or better entry techniques. Then this is definitely something you would want to attend. I know Nathan probably put a link there in the chat box if you guys want to check that out. Then I'll be more than please go and do. Like I said, we still have some tickets available for you to attend that session. Okay, so that's next week. I've gone through most of the markets, so we have about 13 minutes left. We have questions about Bitcoin. Let's have a look. We've got a question from CryptoPunk. Would like to see Bitcoin. CryptoPunk, I don't know if you've viewed last week's session, but I was talking quite a bit about Bitcoin and how I performed specific cycle analysis on Bitcoin. Around about when was this? I think it was around about the 9th of August. I identified potential turning points in this market, and it actually gave us this high over here as well. Now, this was done in advance, and it has worked pretty well using cycle analysis. So if you're unfamiliar, I really don't have too much time to go over cycle analysis today. But if you are interested in finding out what I'm talking about, then please go rewatch last week's video where I gave a quick explanation of and show you how I've identified these areas before time. Before these actual low highs came in. And then if you pair this with market geometry, let me just get rid of all these lines. If you pair this with market geometry, then you've got a pretty cool, why did I delete that line? Now you've got a pretty cool combination of methods to find potential reversal points in the market. Obviously, I'm also very interested in Bitcoin. I still viewed whatever happened this up here into this high on the 14th of April as an A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So an A, B, C, expanded flat, which I was talking about earlier. That's how we marked it out. Boom, price hits it. We got a reaction back to the center median line. Price actually made a new low. Lots of divergence at this new low. This is typical of price getting weaker, and then prices now move to the upside. You'll see that this low on the 21st of September found support at this angle, which might still be working. Let me just have a look at something else. So I'm thinking, and I'm sticking with this at the moment, is that we've had an A, B expanded flat either here or there. Correction that ended, and that we already have a first wave up. Guys, I've got so much drawing tools on here. A potential ABC that already ended, and last week I also mentioned that we have a potential turning point end of this month. Now we are in that time of a window. It's not an exact science, but it's something that alerting me that we might have ended already because price came down in an A, B, C. And you can mark it this way as well. Yeah, that didn't work. This is the the pitchforks I've been using perfectly before price reached there. Look what happened when price reached the low red warning line. It stopped there. This might have been the C wave. If this is the first wave up, then we're just doing an ABC now with another move to the upside. That being said, I just want to go to the 4-hour chart. This could be an A, B, C, D, potentially E wave that's still underway. This thing where price hits a level 3 times, in my opinion, is dangerous, especially if it gets tested a third time. So this could potentially be a descending triangle if price didn't already complete that here. We do have that buy window, according to those cycles that I identified before price got here, where this whole entire move to the downside could still end. That being said, this might bounce higher from here. It could be a higher low, sorry, a higher high, higher low within this time window, and then see price move to the upside. ABC is always your most common correction, and anything crypto related, they can be quite violent as well, i.e. very strong directional moves. The one thing about ABCs is very soon you can think you've got an ABC, you think that ended, and then all of a sudden this ABC ends up to be an ABC with another ABC, i.e. WXY pattern with prices going even lower. So I'm very keen to see CryptoPunk, what's going to happen within this time zone. I'm giving it until the end of this week, I would say, to see if we can get a potential bottom with another stronger move to the upside. But just take note, like I've mentioned before, an ABC, this was a beautiful ABC, can still potentially turn into a more complex correction as well. But overall, I think the big thing I want to say is that I'm still viewing this move from the 20th of July's low, or sorry, the 22nd of June's low as a potential 1 ABC, with then a third impulsive wave to the upside that could potentially carry us above all-time highs. All right, so that's my view. I might obviously be wrong or be proven wrong. That's perfectly fine, but I am still bullish on Bitcoin. All right. Nathan, we have any other questions coming in there? We got about 6 minutes to go before I have to log off here. Yeah, guys, sorry about that noise in the background. Apart from these glitches and gremlins that we've had with this trading view issues this morning, we also have plumbers fixing a leak in the bathroom next door. So it's been a terribly, terribly difficult day for me. Then we got a question from Linda Bell. Does the velocity trigger setup rely on Elliott Wave analysis? Not at all, Linda. It does not work at all with Elliott Wave analysis. I would normally identify potential areas of where reversal might happen, what I call buy zones or sell zones. And when price does enter these zones and there's a reaction into the direction that you might have expected, and you do get that reaction, there in majority of cases is a certain candlestick pattern. I won't say it's a pattern, but behavior that I want to see in candlesticks, generally on the 4-hour chart, that I call the velocity trigger setup. And it's a trend continuation or trend reversal technique. Once you see it, it just really, it's always been there. I'm just not sure everyone really sees it that easily on the charts. But it's just a very cool way to confirm to get into entry, if I can say that. And quite often, even if you get into a trade using that setup and you're completely wrong about a bigger reversal happening, whatever the case might be, you'll at least get that initial nice push into your direction which is obviously what you want, so that you can start limiting your risk and stuff like that. So I also rely on reversal candlestick patterns, but I do find that there are a lot of people who obviously can't, watch their screens all day long. So if you sort of perform analysis with your own sort of analysis, or you like market geometry like I do, you got an area where you want to, or you think a correction might end or a trend might end, and you want to take a reversal trade, then quite often you want to see confirmation of price moving into your intended direction, and then you wait for the velocity trigger set up to confirm that you potentially have a reversal at hand. And quite often that trigger, if they do fire off, really gets you into really nice trades. Then we have Jay Dutta. Can you do the NQ, please? For sure, Jay. Let me have a look. Let's just go NQ here. Nasdaq. I've done NQ in the past for someone over here. Asked me the same thing. You can see I have not drawn these lines here. These lines were on there since we last looked at the NQ, which was probably a couple of weeks back. I think it was even last month. And I was saying wait until price reaches this upper red warning line again, and it did, and we are reversing pretty strongly to the downside now. On the bigger scheme of things, Jay, there's a lot of talk about this Evergrande default in China and how this might affect the markets. I know that a lot of top analysts already calling a top for this year. I'm not that sure. I think we might even see another rally in towards the end of this year, November, December-ish, before we get a deeper move. But things are looking obviously pretty bearish at the moment. That being said, even look at the NQ over here. If you look at this drop over here that started in the beginning of this year, I mean, this current drop's not even close to that drop already. So you've got to put things in perspective as well. I still think we might even be correcting to the downside. But that being said, this is what I have on the NQ. On the longer term perspective, we have to look at the Dow Jones, because they all move very similar to each other, the Dow Jones and the ES. Let's have a look at the Dow Jones. You don't have to use a log scale. This is my opinion. I think we either topped out in the third wave right now with a fourth wave correction, which could last for, I don't know, till next year, beginning next year, and then see another move to the upside, and then we might potentially have 5 waves to complete the sequence from this low that ended in March after the housing collapse in the US. So I'm seeing this as a 1, 2, 3 here. We also have that beautiful A, B, C, D, E expanded triangle. And I was viewing this massive, insane jump to the upside that started in March last year. It's potentially the last 5th wave phase of this entire move to the upside from a 2009 low. My thinking still is that we could potentially still be going up in the 3rd wave, and all of this is just noise. If that happens, these are actually timing points that I put in here using my cycle analysis. I do have different roads or paths that I think this might take. But price already reached this upper median line, reacted low. It did not reach it yet. If we do continuously go up, then I'll be, like I said, be watching till price reaches this upper median line again. Then I think we're going to get a deeper correction until next year. Another move to the upside, and whenever that ends, we probably going to see one heck of a move to the downside. But that's a bit of a long-term forecast, but that's where we stand with that. So similarly to what the NQ is obviously doing, they're all coming down at the moment. All right, Jay, hopefully that helped you out there. Okay, guys, we want to pass over half an hour. I really need to get going and take my boys to their extramural activities. My wife can't do that today. Guys, if you've got any questions that I've not answered, you might please drop them down there in the comment box. If you liked what you've seen today, please remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the like button, and also please check out those tickets. It's still available for next week's live session, where I'm going to be going over one of my favorite setups called the Velocity Trigger setup. Right guys, that is it for me today. I'll be back next week, and I hope to see you all in the live class. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great rest of your week and weekend. Until next time, goodbye.